The Hindu editorial, August 15, 2024. Illusory blip. The decline in inflation offers no respite for households. India's retail prices rose 3.54% in July, the slowest pace in almost 5 years, easing sharply from 5.1% in June. Food inflation that has been high for about 3 years now slid to a 13-month low of 5.4%. This is also the first time since August 2019 that inflation as per the Consumer Price Index has aligned with the Reserve Bank of India's median inflation target. 4% last week. The Monetary Policy Committee (MPC) decided to maintain status quo on the interest rate for the ninth consecutive time as it awaits a durable decline in the inflation rate. July's pleasant inflation number will not trigger a rethink as the MPC has in fact hiked its projection for this quarter inflation average to 4.4% from 3.8%, so it expects price rise to rebound to well over 4% through August on September. There is good reason to see through July's print as a purely statistical outcome of base effect and from last July when the CPI was up 7.4% and food was 11.5% dearer rather than the tangible softening of persistent price pressure for households. Vegetable inflation, the biggest driver of last month's decline, slid from June's 29.3% spike to just 6.8% in July, but this was on top of a whopping 37.3% rise last July, when prices of tomato, which played a key role in last month's vegetable price trend, had hit around 110 rupees per kilo. Moreover, households do not feel the pinch of living cost um, on a year-on-year basis alone, as they need to readjust spending plans depending on how every passing month plays out. While vegetable and tomato prices were already high and in May amid a heat wave, July's price levels are over 30% and 14% higher than May and June, respectively. Moreover, inflation in some food items such as pulses and cereals remains stubborn despite base effects. The price of pulses rose in double digits for the 14th straight month by 14.8% on the top of 13.3% recorded last July. On the other hand, core inflation excluding food and energy prices rose for the first time since January 2023, primarily led by pricier services, including transport and communication that sped thanks to telecom tariff hikes. Private surveys on manufacturing and services signal a hardening of price pressure and pressures beyond food, which in turn is expected to see a meaningful reprieve only by October when the next harvest hits the market. While Kharif showing progress holds some hope, the September monsoon spurt predicted by the weatherman may yet hit standing crops with a prolonged spate of high inflation cramping consumption levels and in terms hope of fresh private investment. The latest optical blip offers neither comfort nor room for complacency. Complacency, blip, spate, spurt. The trial that progressed rapidly towards independence. 79 years ago, a sunset accompanied the dawn of British victory in the Second World War, having cast the shadow of her domination over a quarter of the globe for much of the previous 3 centuries. Britannia, shattered by the rigors of war, began descending into darkness. The sun was finally setting on the British Empire, Winston Churchill lost the general election of 1945, which swept Clement and Attlee and his Labour Party into 100 Downing Street. Plans were soon afoot to facilitate as King George VI announced the early realization of full self-government in India. Churchill chafed at this, but he and the Tories could do little to prevent it. So, insolvent was Britain after Second World War that John Maynard Keynes, the chief architect of Britain's post-war economy, acidly told Attlee that the country, trapped in infrastructural breakdown and soaring national debt, was facing a financial Dunkirk. Her treasury having run dry, Britain had no option but to seek aid from the United States and cut her losses by divesting herself of the empire. Divesting, insolvent. The Red Fort Trial. The process moved rapidly towards independence and partition. In the Indian general election 1945-46, the Muslim League, which had expanded and consolidated its support while the Congress leadership was in jail during the war, secured 75% of all Muslim votes, a colossal increase from the less than 5% it had mustered in all previous elections. India's freedom struggle was splintering on the question of whether religion should be the determinant of nationhood. Despairing for the future of their plural and progressive idea of India, the Congress began searching for an issue that could not only reinvigorate the freedom struggle but also rekindle the flame of religious harmony in the hearts of all Indians. Almost on cue, the British, after practicing the cynical politics of divide et impera for nearly a century and enabling the demand for Pakistan, unwittingly provided that issue in a gesture so counterproductive that it could almost have been an act of expiation. The Raj clumsily gave the clashing factions a last chance of unity, charging the Indian National Army with treason during the war. They placed on trial at the Red Fort three valorous soldiers, a Hindu, a Muslim, and a Sikh of Subhash Chandra Bose Azad Hind Fauj, Indian National Army (INA), thus indicating representative of 98% of India's population and uniting all of it. The result was a national outcry that spanned the communal divide. Whether the errors and misjudgment of the INA men and Nehru believed freedom could never have come through an alliance with foreigners, let alone foreign fascists. They had not been disloyal to their motherland. Each of the three defendants became a symbol of this community's proud commitment to independence from alien rule. The punishment given them, thundered Jawaharlal Nehru on August 20, 1945, would in effect be a punishment on all India and all Indians. A deep wound would be created in millions of hearts. Delhi's Red Fort had been an enduring symbol of India's quest for freedom ever since the revolt of 1857. This is why the East India Company, upon crushing the resistance, decimated two-thirds of the fort's spectacular inner structures, displacing them with hideous cantonment, complete with barracks, office buildings, sheds, and godowns. In a rousing speech delivered in Singapore in July 1943, Bose had spurred his Azad Hind Fauj to march onward, immortalizing in the battle cry Chalo Dilli his aspiration of seeing the Indian tricolour aflutter over the Red Fort. When the heroes of the INA finally reached the Red Fort, it was to face charges of treason punishable by death. Protest that spread across India. The historic court-martial commenced on November 5, 1945, on trial charged with waging war against the French, the King, Emperor, murder and abatement of murder. Were Captain Shah Nawaz Khan and Lieutenant Gurbakh Singh Dhillon of the Punjab Regiment and Captain P.K. Sehgal of the Baloch Regiment. As the hearing proceeded, throngs of Indians encircled the walls of Red Fort demanding justice for the lion hearts and roaring on and on. लाल किला से आई आवाज़ शगल ढिल्लन शाह नवाज, condemning the trial and demanding that all INA soldiers be exonerated. The All India Congress Committee had in September itself constituted an INA Defence and Relief Committee, which ultimately formed the triumvirate's glittering 17-member defense team. This dream squad of eminent Congress barristers included one whose disinclination to practice law had coincided with the national rejection of such institution of the Raj as its judiciary. Donning after 25 years his barrister gown and wing, Nehru leapt to the defense of these men, who had fought for India's liberation alongside Bose, his former comrade. Both the Congress and the League rose to Trio's side as slogans of "Death to British imperialism" and "Hindu-Muslim unity Zindabad" suffused the air. The flags of both the Congress and the Muslim League waved above the protest. Pro-INA protest spearheaded primarily by the Congress fanned out across India holding aloft banners that bore such slogans as "They are patriots, not traitors." Indians of all faiths marched shoulder to shoulder, hurling clenched fists into the air and thundering Jai Hind, while in Madras the police opened fire on protesters, killing 5. Calcutta's Bose hometown became the epicenter of these protests, with students from several political organizations virtually encamping in the streets for 4 days in late November, only to be joined afterwards by factory workers and Sikh taxi drivers. Eventually, the police opened fire and 97 protesters perished. The residents of Delhi, Lahore, Bombay, Patan, Lucknow turned out in droves to support the riot on trial of at the Red Fort, beginning of the British endgame. But the moment passed, the defense of three patriots was no longer enough to guarantee a common definition of patriotism. The ferment across the country made the conviction of the trial almost irrelevant. Freedom was inevitable, but so was partition. By the time the trial got underway, it was apparent that the ultimate treason of the British Raj was being contemplated on its own capital, London, under the Labour Party, exhausted by war, was determined to rid itself of the burdens of its Indian Empire. In Feb 1946, Prime Minister Attlee announced the dispatch of a cabinet mission to India to discuss the leaders of Indian opinion to framing of the Indian Constitution. The endgame had begun. Today was, as we mark 77th anniversary of our independence, facing again an India that some politicians would divide on religious ground. Let us not forget that glorious flicker of national unity that marked the Red Fort trials. The empire descended into discredit from that moment, its extension made inevitable by its own flailing attempt to assert itself over rebellious Indians. As Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru hoisted the tricolour over the Red Fort for the first time in free India, against the dazzling sky in which fluttered the flag of freedom, he was standing at the site of glorious failure, a testament to what we, the people of India, are capable of aspiring to when we stand together united and undeterred in the service of a larger cause. And yet, moment of rebirth that was also an abortion, with the nation torn into two. Let us hope that 8 decades later our leaders find the wisdom to commit themselves again to what unites us as a people rather than promote the forces of division. This time at the Red Fort, all of us are on trial. Violence most foul. The government should not wait for public outrage before it acts. Some excesses are some excessive than others. It is fair to count rape among the most egregious violations of human rights. The recent horrific rape and murder of the Kolkata postgraduate medical student in what should have been a heaven for her, a state-run hospital she was working in, must give the nation pause. The state and the circumstances in which the body was found leave no room for any doubt that it was the most dastardly violent act and brazen in that it occurred within hall of in the supposedly safe confines of the government medical hospital. Every rape unfortunately is measured in severity by the amount of attention it garners from the public, and the outrage beast is selective. That is where the problem lies. When even enforcement authorities seem to gauge public outrage before acting upon crimes against women. The Kolkata case was a classic example. The parents of the slain doctor were reportedly told that she had committed suicide, initially a blatant lie, whereas it could not have escaped the attention of anyone at the scene of crime, but particularly uh, so medical professionals that there indeed was dreadful assault and murder was the willful cover up necessitated by the fact that both the home and health portfolio are being held by none other than the chief minister of the state, or to avoid responsibility for the administrative lapses that allowed such a crime to take place, the government sadly preferred to wait until the public outrage over the grisly crime became impossible to contain politically. Indignant protest to broke out in Kolkata and across the country, bolstered mostly by medical students and postgraduates in hospitals, demanding safety and security as they engaged in healing people. Multiple acts of violence against doctors have marred the peace between doctors and patients in the country for years now. The murder last year of Dr. Vandana Das in Kerala by a patient with mental illness is recent history, but the frequent attacks on doctors and nurses during COVID-19 or even their adverse health outcomes have been recorded too. The Indian Medical Association has said that for doctors, pedestrian working condition and inhuman workload and harassment in the workflows are the reality even without violence, queering the pitch. The move to drop 2019 proposal to introduce legislation to protect doctors and their workforce was a lapse, and it should be remedied forthwith. Above all, the state should proactively take steps to prevent rapes, making the punishment a deterrent. The nation cannot afford to fail one more doctor or hospital caregiver. Those tasked with saving lives should not have to fear for their own. Freedom from dependence, a new era in healthcare. India's Independence Day on August 15 is a time for reflection on the nation's remarkable journey across various sectors. One of the most profound transformations we have witnessed is in the healthcare sector, from a time when Indians had to travel to the Western world for advanced medical treatments to today where India stands as global healthcare hub. We have come a long way. This evolution not only signifies our medical prowess but also our economic resilience. Until the 1980s, it was common practice for affluent Indians to seek advanced medical treatments abroad, especially in Western countries. This dependency was not only a drain on our financial resources but also a testament to the gaps in our healthcare system. However, the landscape of Indian healthcare has undergone a seismic shift. Today, India is recognized globally for its world class medical services, attracting patients from over 147 countries. This transformation is a testament to the relentless efforts of our medical professionals, the strategic vision of our policymakers, and the resilience of our healthcare institutions. Heal in India, a global care hub. The shift from medical tourism to being a preferred medical destination has had significant economic implications. According to a recent study, India saves billions in foreign exchange annually as fewer Indians need to travel abroad for medical treatments. The cost of treatment in India is significantly lower than in Western countries with the same, if not better, quality of care. This has not only helped in retaining valuable foreign exchange but also has also positioned India as a cost-effective healthcare destination. Moreover, the inflow of international patients contribute to the economy, creating jobs and fosters growth in related sectors such as hospitality, transportation, and pharmaceuticals. The influx of medical tourists is estimated to generate revenues of over $9 billion annually, further boosting the nation's economy. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's clarion call of Heal India is more than a slogan, it is a vision. Clarion. For positioning India as a global healthcare leader. With With a concerned effort, India has made significant strides in medical tourism, though there is still room for growth when compared to our neighboring countries. Our state of the art hospitals, skilled medical professionals, cost effective treatment have made India a preferred destination for medical tourists. Patients from across the globe come to India for a wide range of treatment from complex cardiac surgeries to advanced oncology. India's healthcare system has emerged as a beacon of hope and excellence. This is not just about treating ailments, it is about providing holistic care that addresses the physical, emotional, and psychological needs of patients. Our healthcare professionals are not merely doctors and nurses, they are healers who embody compassion, dedication, and a relentless pursuit of excellence. Challenges and opportunities. While we celebrate our achievement, we must also acknowledge the challenge that lie ahead. India continues to import a significant portion of its medical devices, which adds to the cost of treatment and impacts our self-reliance. According to a study by the Indian Brand Equity Foundation, India imported medical devices worth over $6.24 billion in 2021-22. However, the Make in India initiative is gaining momentum with increasing investment in the domestic production of medical devices. This shift not only aims to reduce dependency on import but also to enhance the affordability and accessibility of medical care. The journey towards self reliance in healthcare is ongoing, and the progress we have made is a testament of our collective resilience and innovation. The burgeoning medical device industry in India is a symbol of a growing capability to produce high quality, affordable healthcare solutions. This progress is a clarion call to our young innovators and entrepreneurs step into healthcare arena and drive further advancements. As we look into the future, it is imperative to inspire Indian youth to consider careers in healthcare. The healthcare sector is not just about medical treatment, it is about service to humanity and nation building. The purpose of healthcare is universal, transcending boundaries and touching lives in a profound ways. By choosing a career in healthcare, young Indians can contribute to the nation's growth and make a meaningful difference in the lives of millions across the world. The youth of India hold the keys to our future. Their energy, creativity, and passion are essential in driving the next wave of innovation in healthcare. By embracing careers in this sector, they can play a pivotal role in transforming our healthcare system into one that is not only self reliant but also a global leader. Healthcare offers a unique opportunity to blend science, technology, and compassion to create a lasting impact on society. Celebrating independence with a vision. As we celebrate India's Independence Day, let us take pride in the strides we have made in healthcare. From being a nation dependent on the West for medical treatments from becoming global healthcare destination, our journey is nothing short of remarkable. Let us continue to build on this foundation, striving for excellence and self-reliance in healthcare. The journey from dependence to independence in healthcare is microcosm of India's broader path of self reliance and excellence. It embodies the spirit of innovation, resilience, and service that defines our nation. In the spirit of independence and progress, let us commit to a future where India is not just a healer for its people but for the world. Let us strive for a healthcare system that is inclusive, innovative, and inspiring. Together, we can build a healthcare system that is a source of pride for every Indian and a beacon of hope for the world. Jai Hind. Jai Hind.